Hello and welcome to this episode of the Business Spotlight. Today we are joined by Harry from Purple Cactus Creative. Hi, Harry.
Hi.
So thanks for being with us today, and we're really excited to learn a little bit more about you and your business during this Business Spotlight. So just for our viewers out there, the Business Spotlight, what is it? It's something that we've created to help people learn a little bit more about business, get inspired, and maybe just give you a few little pointers and tips in case you're thinking about joining the entrepreneur journey like the rest of us. So just to kick us off, if we could start by asking you, Harry, who you are, what you do, and more importantly, how long you've been doing it for.
Yeah, well, I'm Harry. I run a creative web and graphic design agency. I've been doing it for since 2008. So what's that, 15 years in one form or another. So yeah, longer than I'd like to mention, but
Well, brilliant. So hopefully we're going to get some really good sort of stuff today for our viewers. So what makes you different? I mean, what would you say is what makes you stand out from the other businesses that are out there doing the same kind of thing as you, Harry?
it's a question I get from clients a lot as well. And I think everyone does. Why should I choose you? What makes you different? I think there's a lot that makes me exactly the same as other people out there. And I think whenever you're in the same industry as someone else, there's a lot of similarities. I mean, the only real big difference between me and everyone else is me.
Yep.
And I think that's the same for anyone that runs their own business. It's the person behind it. And I've in over the years I've definitely learned that people buy people, and anyone can offer a service, and a lot of the times it's apples and oranges, sometimes it's apples and apples, but yeah, I like to think I am the difference. It's kind of the way I deal with clients, the way I work with projects, the way I look at things, the way I sort of problem solve. That's really what makes Purple Cactus different from everyone else.
Brilliant. That's great. Well, thanks for sharing on that one. So what's the journey been like so far? I mean, since you started 15 years ago to where you are now.
Yeah, it was an odd journey. It was something I never planned on really getting into it. I started off for my sins in sales when I was a teenager. I went down the double glazing, photocopiers, you name it, I've sold it. And it all started really with I met someone when I was in one of those jobs who was a graphic designer. He was doing a few sort of friends and family jobs on the side. Sort of got chatting to him and sort of said, look, what about if I find you some clients? What about we divvy up the money? And that's sort of how it all sort of started by accident, really. So I started as a salesman for some guy doing bits and pieces, and then that kind of went on from there. We ended up starting a company together years ago. We started that. I left that just over a year ago to sort of go out and do my own thing. So yeah, and then a lot along the way, kind of picked up the skills sort of on the job, if you like. It's kind of, I didn't go to college, didn't go to uni, didn't do any of that stuff. It's just literally trial and error and working it out as I go along.
The school of life, I think they call that one.
That indeed, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, brilliant. So, I mean, what's the future look like? I mean, what do you think is going to be some of the biggest challenges that you've got coming up going forward in 2024?
Um, I mean, I think everyone's had one of the bigger challenges over the last couple of years, and I think getting through that is a testament to anyone that survived. But I think for next year, I think there's still a lot of uncertainty, economic climate, and I hate the phrase because I hear it every other day. But I think that's going to be something I think people are going to be a lot more cautious with how they invest. I don't think it's going to be a case of no one's going to spend batten down the hatches, but I think it has taught people to be a lot more cautious and do a lot more research into what services they employ, who they employ to do those services, what return they're getting from those services. So I think it's really just going to be a case of making sure that what you're offering is marries up to what people expect, and managing those expectations properly. And hopefully I always try and undersell and over deliver if I can. So that's always my best course of action, I think.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good thing. Is the under promise and over deliver scenario? It's always a good mantra in my book, at least. Anyway, so moving on to yourself, Harry. I mean, what would you say has been your biggest lesson today in business that really stands out that you can share with our viewers?
I mean, there's been a lot. There's definitely a lot. I think it's like I said, I've been doing this 15 years. Before that, I ran companies before doing other things. So I've been sort of running my own businesses now for nearly 20 years. And it's you learn something. I think every year in, year out, you're always learning. You always are. You're always making mistakes. You're never going to get it right all the time. It's just, if I can make less mistakes next year than I did this year, then I've done well. But I think it's I think basically perseverance and understanding that success isn't a line from the bottom to the top. It's very much up and down and up and down. And just because you've had a bad or an unsuccessful month, quarter, whatever it might be, you can't look at the short term. You've got to look at the bigger picture. So I think that's probably the biggest lesson. Cause I used to stress a lot if I had a bad day, a bad week, and now it's kind of I look and I just think, well, as long as the year's okay,
Yeah,
that's and you can kind of put things into perspective and take a step back. I think it's very easy to kind of get lost and not be able to see the wood for the trees because especially when it's your own business, you're so passionate and you care about it so much, and it's very easy to let yourself get caught up in the emotional side of business and kind of forget the logical side of it. So yeah, I think I'd say that's probably my if I could get anyone to learn anything from my mistakes would be, yeah, don't sweat the small stuff, and try and think logically and take a step back, take a breather every now and then because it massively helps.
no, that's brilliant. That's a fantastic share, Harry. And I think, never a truer word spoken. I think there's a common misconception that it is linear and it sort of just goes like
Mm,
this, and it doesn't. Like you
yeah,
say, it's sort of like this. But as long
yeah,
as it's going on that upward trajectory, then that's all good.
yeah.
So thanks for sharing that. That's really good. So we're going to go back in time now, Harry. We're going to go back to an 18-year-old Harry. Okay.
Oh God.
So what I'd like you to do is just have a little think about what piece of advice would you give an 18-year-old you that some of our viewers would be able to use as well going forward.
Probably stop drinking so much would be the first one, but other than that, I mean, like I say, I mean, it probably sort of links to you know my previous answer. It's kind of try not to get too caught up in kind of the day-to-day stresses and think of things as a big, but try and have a 6 month, 1 year, 3 year, 5 year plan. And it's kind of although it's good, don't get me wrong, it's good to be organized and it's good to have kind of daily things that you need to do, weekly things that you need to do. But it's certainly when I was younger, it's kind of if I didn't do something by the Friday, like I said I would, it would be like, oh, I failed, I've done it wrong. It's kind of as long as everything gets done in the overall time scale and things are moving in the right direction, that's all you need to worry about. So yeah, I'd say to my younger self, uh, it's not going to be as easy as you think. It's it's certainly not. It's going to be a lot of hard work, but it's definitely worth the sometimes sleepless nights and 16-hour days and giving up weekends because it pays off in the end.
Yeah, no, that's a really great share. And I think, the planning side of things, like you say, breaking things down from a 3-year plan, a 1-year plan, to the 90-day plans and even the monthly plans. It's so key, isn't it? It's so important. So
Yeah.
that's a really good share. Thanks for that, Harry. So what is it that really fires you up then? What is it that really inspires you on a daily basis to do what you do day in, day out, week in, week out?
I mean, not being homeless is always a good one. But I've got my partner and I've got a 15-month-old daughter at home. So obviously that is a big drive for me. So I didn't come from a wealthy background, let's say. It was quite the opposite. So it's kind of, definitely wanting to be able to provide her more than I had. I think that's a parent's kind of general thing anyway. But I really love my clients as well. I mean, I work primarily, I mean, although because of what I do, I mean, I could work with someone in, Brazil or Australia. I could work halfway around the world because it's all online and digital and all the rest of it. But generally my clients are local, and I like to meet my clients, sit down face to face, and I build some really good relationships and bigger. I've been doing this, as I say, for quite a while, and some of the clients I work with now I met 15 years ago, and sort of cultivated kind of friendships as well as working relationships. And I'm not saying you have to be best friends with all your clients, and that's certainly, it's impossible to be friends with everyone, but I do have a lot of, I've made a lot of friendships out of it, a lot of, really enjoyable working relationships. And
Yeah.
I look forward to getting up in the morning and doing my job. It's, I think there's a lot to be said about job satisfaction. And that's certainly one of the things that push it. I genuinely enjoy it. I like coming across problems. I like problem solving. I like it when someone asks me to do something or presents a project that is a challenge and isn't something I've done 100 times before, that I can just kind of autopilot. I like that. I like my brain working. So yeah, I'd say they're the two big things for me, and of course money. Who doesn't love money?
It
But
makes the world
that's
go
it's
around, doesn't it?
it's a nice byproduct.
No, that's fantastic. That's some really good stuff you got there. Yeah. Sorry, what's your daughter's name?
Lilith.
Lily. Do you want to say hello to Lily? Because she might watch this one
Hi,
day when
Lilith.
she's a bit older.
Hi, Lilith.
Brilliant. So just to wrap things up then, Harry. So, I mean, have you got any sort of news or anything that you want to share towards the tail end of 2023 with our viewers? And also, what's the best way for them to get hold of you if they want to find out a little bit more?
Well, I mean, if they want to find out more, then go to the website, which is purplecactuscreative.co.uk, or just Google Purple Cactus Creative, you'll find me. They can give me a call and email me on either hello or harry@purplecactuscreative.co.uk. But I mean, yeah, 2024. I mean, there's lots of, certainly in web design, in the web design world, there's a lot of sort of trends that are starting to form that I'm looking forward to getting involved with. A few new things coming out. I've got a couple of things in the works that I can't quite say yet because they're not quite ready. But got a couple of things that should massively help improve, let's say, productivity and being able to just do more, basically. So yeah, I've got a few things coming up, but not quite ready to reveal yet.
Brilliant. No, that's absolutely fine. Well, you've shared some fantastic things there with our viewers today. They've now got a way of getting hold of you if they want to find out more. So it just leaves me to say thank you ever so much. It's been an absolute pleasure getting to know you a little bit more, Harry. And
you?
for all of our viewers, if you want to find out more, you've now got a way to get hold of Harry at Purple Cactus Creative. So until next time, that's been the Business Spotlight. I've been Mark and you've been Harry. Thanks very much. See you,
Thanks,
everyone.
Mark. Cheers.